TG Geeks, episode 262, February 24th, 2020, Digging Our Way Out. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. I say this every time, right?
Yes, you do.
Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre. You name it, we talk about it.
I'm expecting you to one day to do this without a script.
I'm pretty much doing it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from a wet TG Squared Studios in lovely
wet
Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington coming to you from, oh my goodness, I mean, it's rain? What is this wet stuff falling from the heavens here in Phoenix, Arizona?
Exactly. But it's a little late because January is supposed to be the rainy season. This is the end of February.
Yeah, we're coming to March already, and yeah, it's a little unusual, but here it is.
All right. Well, get on with it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the Two Gay Geeks are discussing this.
Well, this time we have Pia Thrasher. We've talked to her before, but we're talking to her because she has just finished completing, or has just finished completing. Yes, she has just completed her new film, Things We Dig, and we want to talk about that. We're going to have our birthday shout-outs, our podcast of the week, and feedback a palooza today.
Sort of feedback. Not full-blown, but it's kind of there. And then we got a couple of shout-outs and a couple of things to talk about in the second segment, if we have time. A weekly recap and the regular shout-outs as always. So let's get on with this show. And we welcome back a visitor that we haven't had in quite some time, Pia Thrasher. She is an actress, a filmmaker, an artist extraordinaire. I just love her artwork. Welcome back to the show, Pia.
Hi, guys, and thank you. I'm excited. It's been a while.
Yeah. In fact, I'm sitting here looking at a piece of artwork that we bought from you and sitting right on our wall. And
which one? Is it the Catwoman one?
Yeah, it's she's got the big monster, and then she's got the sword and the cat sitting beside her. So,
oh, that one.
Yeah,
it's one of our favorites.
Repeat customers.
Yeah. And we have the cat. Sorry,
that's right. We do have the Catwoman.
Look up to the left, and there's Catwoman too. So,
which
oh my gosh,
looks like a theatrical poster.
It does.
Is so
it's
well
so
done.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
It's a fabulous noirish style to it. I mean, your artwork is without question absolutely breathtaking.
Yep.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. I love it when people give me good feedback. Of course, it strokes the ego and all that, and makes me feel like I'm not doing this for nothing.
Exactly. Well, I love your art, and I love your little things with the girl and the cat and the facing your own demons and all that kind of stuff. And I think
with a cat at your side,
it's just empowering. It really is empowering. So,
that's you talking about my little warrior series.
Yeah. So
that's the first time I actually felt like I really connected with people, because I got so much feedback from that, because a lot of people, everybody struggles with something, and it might be either inner demons, or a disease, and I remember the first time I actually got a commission for it was for a lady whose teenage son, or boy, actually, he wasn't even a teenager yet, was struggling with cancer, and he was doing fine. And she said, "Can you make a painting in that same style with a certain color scheme, and with a little boy, facing this big monster thing?" And her plan was to reveal it to him with a really big mat around it. And at his recovery party after he had his last chemo treatment. And all his friends and family signed their names around on that mat. And I thought that was just wonderful. That was awesome. And
that's beautiful.
It was like, yeah, and he's doing great now. So
good. Wonderful.
Good.
Anyway, so we're actually here, obviously, to talk about your art, but you have something in the works. But before that, can you give our listeners, in case they didn't listen to the previous interview with you, who you are, how you got into filmmaking and art and all that kind of neat stuff? Just a little short biography.
Short. Okay, I'll try to keep it short. So I'm originally from Germany, obviously, and I have this accent that I can't really hide. But I'm an actress first, and a few years ago, I wrote my first script for a short film called The Appointment, which was what you interviewed me for before.
Yes,
and still love to this day.
I love that film.
Thank you. It was my first foray into filmmaking, and it was back then. I was like an 8-minute movie, short film, and it was a dark comedy. And I had a lot of friends that helped me. Otherwise, it would have never, been possible to make it. And it was a lot of work. I learned a lot from it, and it was exciting. It was scary. I swore that I would never do it again because it was also stressful. And of course, within a few weeks, I wrote my next script.
Of course.
And it was basically when I did the first short film, it was something I did out of necessity because I wanted to give myself a role to play that I felt would be fun for me and not the typical wife or girlfriend that is just there out of necessity. And I felt like, no, I wanted to give myself something more fun to play. And so I had to come up with my own script, and that's how it started.
Wow.
And I didn't really plan on becoming a filmmaker. And so that's how it started, basically. And when I wasn't planning on writing another script, I still do all my other stuff, the paintings and acting stuff and all that. And then I was watching this movie called What We Do in the Shadows. I'm sure you've seen it.
Right.
And so I thought it was so funny, and I loved the whole idea of that 4 vampires or several vampires living together, in modern times, and kind of. So I'm like, I wonder what it's like if it's 4 female vampires.
Right.
What would that be like living under the same roof? And so I had all these ideas, and I'm like, oh, shoot, here we go. I got to write a script. And so I wrote a script, and this was like almost, 4 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And I finished it pretty quickly. And then, of course, I asked the same friends and people that helped me on the appointment. I'm like, hey, I got this other script. Do you guys feel like you want to do this again? And I hope I didn't, piss anyone off. And of course, everybody's like, yay, we're back on board. I'm like, cool. So we all started with the pre-production pretty quickly. And I had a cast. I did have to do some auditions for some characters because this was 3 times the size of my first short film.
Right.
It's like 3 times the cast, 3 times the length, because this one wound up being about 18, almost 19 minutes.
Wow.
And so it was a lot more involved, cast, crew, money, props, and just way more. So
finding a place.
Yes, and then that turned out to be a big problem. So
Right.
we did find a place, and it was awesome, and I was so excited. And then the day we were supposed to sign the paperwork for it, the person decided to take a cash offer and sold the place.
Oh my.
Yeah. And so we were like, oh, you got to be kidding. For real? Like, you've got to be kidding. And like, nope. So I was like, can the new owner, do you think they'll let us film in there before they move in or do anything? And he says, nope, they are basically just tearing everything out and revamping the whole place flip it. I'm like,
Wow.
you gotta be kidding. It was the whole interior that made it so cool because it had this 70s style look with shag carpet and like wooden panels on the, wooden panelings on them. I mean, just trippy 70s style. And it was really cool. And so basically we lost it and I was devastated. And then that started a whole spiral of bad things that happened after that. And for the longest time, then we had a death in the family, and then I had my own surgery, and a little bit about it with my crazy, glitchy heart.
Right.
And, had that fixed, and we, there was just so many things thrown at me that at some point I'm like, okay, I guess that's just not going to happen. And I think that was in 2016 when all this went down, when it started. And so I still had hope for it, and I thought, well, maybe we'll pull it off somehow. I'm not going to give up that easily. But then time was dragging on, and you know how that goes. And so I almost kind of gave up. I got really depressed about it. I was super down. 2016 was a really rough year for me.
Yeah. Trust me, I understand 2020 started off rough for me. So.
Oh, yeah. By the way, how are you feeling now?
I'm great, actually. It was just that atrial fibrillation and then the pneumonia after that. And it's like, oh, my God. But, on my 60th birthday.
Oh, jeez. But, wow.
But,
Yeah, I saw you post and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. Well, they shocked me in it. Yeah, they just shocked me and it got back.
Oh, he says that so nonchalantly.
Exactly.
Oh, it was just a shock.
When you have atrial, that is some scary. Trust me,
it is.
I know a little bit about it. It's not the same that we both had two different things, but definitely with our heart going nuts, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What I call glitchy wiring.
Yeah, glitchy wiring. That's exactly right.
I remember when my problem first showed up. In my case, they call them SVTs.
Oh, wow. Supraventricular tachycardia.
You don't need a plumber, you need an electrician for your heart.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
Yeah, did they do the cauterization of the heart, or did they give you a pacemaker? Because sometimes they'll give you a pacemaker.
They gave me that whole ablation thing. They lasered that. So, they went all Star Wars on my heart.
So anyway, so you had this whole spiral downwards, but
it kind of spiraled back up.
Things spiraled back up because now the movie is something's happening with this thing now.
Right. So I don't mean to get all gloomy on it. It did finally turn all around. Almost 2 years ago, when my fabulous production designer Elsa Mikkelsen, she also helped on my first short film.
Mm-hmm.
She texted me and she says, "Hey, do you still want to make your movie?" And I'm like, well, yeah. And she says, "Well, what if we use your house, my house, as a location? I could just, build the set inside, because I always use their house for their sets and use it for different things. They had a bunker in there for several shoots."
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So I was like, hell yeah, so that's how it started. And long story short, we ramped everything back up, and we had to recast a few people because so much time had passed, and but we got most of the same cast and crew on board, and they were still hanging in there, and they were all back, and we got back into a few rehearsals, and to get back into the game basically, and make sure everybody's on top of their game, and then we filmed it in April 2019, last year, over like 3 days. Each day was like probably 10-12 hour days.
Wow.
It was intense, short, but super cool, fun. Everything worked out great. Had an amazing cast and crew. And put that damn thing in a can. And then of course and I couldn't believe it. I had to pinch myself. I'm like, did this really happen? And after all that time, and
what was the turnaround time? I mean, from you finding out that maybe you could do this now, to actually filming it. I mean, how quickly did that ramp up?
It was pretty fast. It was 2018, like in the fall. I think that's when Elsa texted me about that, and she started immediately. We started production meetings, and we would go to her house, her and her husband. Stephen. It's the whole family are filmmakers, and they worked on the appointment before, and without them, I could have never done it. And so Stephen and Elsa and my husband and I, we had our first production meetings at their house, and we would go through the house and figure out which rooms where we would need to film and everything, and started the process really fast. And this was end of 2018, and she started building on the set right away. And I would go up there every once in a while, once a week or so, I can't remember. And we would, go over stuff. And by April 2019, we were ready to film. Yeah,
that's
and we filmed
wonderful.
It.
Fantastic.
So it was a few months.
Yeah. And then the hard work started.
Yeah.
What, post?
Well,
yeah, the post-production stuff.
Post-production is always a lot, yes, because we had to have a lot of editing done 3 times more. And we had the same editor, Peter Stoll, who worked on my first short film too. And it was funny because I ran into him at WonderCon last year, and he says, "Hey, do you need an editor?" I'm like, "Funny you ask."
Well, it's a good thing you got him, because I thought he did an amazing job with The Appointment. I mean, the editing it's really pro in its qualities.
Just wait till you see this one.
So it's great that you're able to get him back on board for this.
A film editor can make or break a film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
yet, when I saw The Appointment, I mean, one of the things that really amazed me is how professional it looked. I mean, it looked like it could have been done by any major studio with that major quality talent like that. So it's great that you're able to get him to come back and work on this new film. So yeah, you got it into post. Were there any other challenges that you had to face when you were doing that?
Well, yeah, because, there's so much footage to go through, and you're like, what do we pick? And so he did a great job picking and finding golden nuggets that I didn't even see, because I was also acting in the film. So it was funny to see what he would find that I didn't really see, So it's always great to have an editor with his eyes and his vision and see, where he goes with it. So I let him go with it basically as much as possible. And we would have meetings here and there, and he would show me what he had, and then we'd start fine tuning it. And once we had, we were getting closer to the final edits, I started working with our composer, which is Eric Ricord, good old friend of mine from a long time ago, a musician, and he usually does industrial kind of music, sounding industrial, like more like Nine Inch Nails back in the day. But he's gotten on his own thing by now, and I said, he showed some interest, and I said, well, this is very much going to be out of your comfort zone. And he was up to the challenge, and he did an amazing job, and you'll hear it. And it's not industrial. It's very different from what he usually does, and that's what made it a challenge for him. And I think he really enjoyed that, I hope. And he did a great job with the music throughout the whole film. You'll see.
Cool. So what is the plan now that it's done, right? And you are submitting it to film festivals, I assume?
Yes. So we've officially finished it January 29th, I think. And because we had to get it done in time to submit it to Comic-Con Film Festival. That was one of the deadlines, 1st of February. And I don't know, if we make it or not, because they won't let you know until June, I think. Right. And we'll see. We'll see. We do have some cuss words in it, so I'm not sure if that's going to fly. But we started submitting it to film festivals, and we'll go from there. And in March, soon here, I'll have a private little cast and crew screening just for us, just for our cast and crew, so we can all finally see our finished product and celebrate it a little bit.
Cool. So, what you have delivered most of the perks then for?
They're still going out. We're still working on that.
Because you did. It was Indiegogo, right?
Yeah. That's all still all in the works. I've ordered more mugs and things like that. It's all been a process. Also, money wise and all that. So It's like, it's getting there.
Cool.
It's all in the works, and we have not forgotten. And I don't know if you guys did. Yeah, you guys were part of that. Do you get my updates when I make updates on the Indiegogo website?
Yeah.
Does that work? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I try to be, transparent and tell everybody what's going on and like where we are, where we stand, and how it's all going. So yes, cool.
So we always have to ask these questions because we know the answers, but our listeners does not. And I do want to point something else out too to anybody who's listening to this, because we talked about the very first time we had you on the show. That was episode 57. Wow.
Wow.
And we're getting ready to release
261. Yeah. So over 200 episodes later.
Right. Wow.
Because you guys are doing a good job. So
that was our
first. Keep it up.
Our first visit to Horrible Imaginings that we met you, I think.
It was, yes.
So this has really been quite interesting.
Yes. So for people who want to learn more about, well, first, if they want to learn more about you and all the things that you're doing, because, listeners, I'm not joking. Pia, she is a talent, and I don't say that lightly. The Appointment was an amazing short film. Keith and I loved it. It's one of our favorite takeaways from that Horrible Imaginings festival where we saw it. And her artwork, oh my God, it is so wonderful. I mean, it's almost like you had your own little wing when we saw it at Comic-Con several years ago. And I love your stuff. So if people want to see more about what you are working on, do you have a social media presence? I mean, like your own website, a site, Facebook, Twitter, any of that?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I do have my regular Twitter, which is Pia Thrasher, just Twitter, Pia Thrasher, how the handle thing goes.
Mm-hmm.
I have, if you want to find out more about Things We Dig, the new short film, you can find us on Twitter, Things We Dig Film on Twitter.
Okay.
On Facebook, it's also facebook.com/thingswedigfilm. I post a lot of updates on that. And then a fun thing is we have also an Instagram account, and it's instagram.com/instagravediggers, which is basically from the point of view of Bryn, one of our vampires, from her perspective. She's the child vampire. And so she hijacked the Instagram account from the filmmakers, and now she is basically posting her own little things. Uh-huh. So yeah, that one is instagram.com/instagravediggers. And as an artist, you can always follow me on herdarkhalf.com. That's where you find, a lot of links to my different works of art and whatever I'm up to. And yes, I'll be at Comic-Con at the art show again.
Yay.
And I'll be, selling or auctioning off new artwork, probably original artwork. Yes. I haven't finished it yet.
Yes. Check out herdarkhalf.com because she's got some really cool stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
So this has really been absolutely a wonderful conversation with you, Pia. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me, for sure. And I can't wait to see you whenever you're in San Diego again.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Hi, this is Pia Thrasher, filmmaker, actress, and artist, and you are listening to the Two Gay Geeks.
I love Pia.
I do too.
I just adore her. I think she's amazing.
She's so talented.
She really is. I'm so glad she's doing another movie.
I so really many different ways. Yeah.
Because I loved The Consultant.
No.
Oh, shoot. I know. We just talked about the title.
Good Lord.
I know.
The appointment.
The appointment. It just it went right out of my head. I was thinking about rain.
Yes. We got water on the brain here. Okay, here's a few selected birthdays for February 24th, 2020 through March 1st, 2020.
We should point out, we missed somebody's birthday last week.
Oh, we missed two people's birthdays.
Yeah, we should say those.
Yeah, we missed a good friend of mine, Dottie Crone, and also Audra Hall, because she was hiding from us both of them were hiding from us on Facebook. They were in my calendar, but I didn't look at my calendar on my phone, but they were hiding from us on Facebook.
Yeah, so we're sorry.
Yeah, happy birthday to both of them. So February 24th, Steve Jobs, tech entrepreneur, visionary.
Strong businessman.
Yeah.
I mean, he had an amazing eye for business in terms of technology. I mean, he wasn't so much of a designer or programmer like Wozniak, but he understood how to market tech.
Exactly. And what, and the big picture and
what are the potentials?
What are the potentials, exactly. Then we have Phil Knight. He is the co-founder of Nike and owner of Leica Studios.
Oh, I didn't know about that last part.
I didn't either. Nike was originally Blue Ribbon Sports, started in 1964.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it became Nike in 1971, and the swoosh was commissioned for, get this, $35.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, my God. That is such an emblem in pop culture today.
Yes, exactly. And it became so popular that when they went public with Nike, he gave Carolyn Davis, who designed the swoosh, shares in the company. So
I'm sure that made a nice tidy sum.
Absolutely. And then we have Abe Vigoda.
Fish!
Actor. He was in The Godfather and Barney Miller. He was Fish and Barney Miller. Just this old curmudgeon. That's all he ever played, I think. And then we have Marjorie Main.
I know the name.
Actress Ma Kettle.
No, really?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Joseph Banks, not the suit company, Joseph A. Banks, but Joseph Banks, who was a botanist. He went on Captain James Cook's first voyage around the world, and he to New Guinea and Australia and all of New Zealand, all around there, and he was the president of the Royal Society for 41 years.
Oh, okay.
On his tours with Captain Cook, brought back 1,400 species of plant life. And he was actually consulted on the Royal Botanic Gardens, or commonly known today as the Kew Gardens. And he advocated for colonizing Australia, as well as establishing Botany Bay.
Botany Bay.
Botany Bay?
Oh, no.
And then we have Edward James Olmos, actor, Stand and Deliver, Blade Runner, Battlestar Galactica, and Coco.
And Coco, but my favorite Edward James Olmos memory is being at the Harkins Theater, the Cine Capri, during the Phoenix Film Festival, and he walks right by me with a bag of popcorn.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, wow. Talk about bringing it down to earth.
Exactly. And then we have George Thorogood.
Now that's funny.
I put this one on there because
last night, as
we were talking about George Thorogood.
Yeah, we were at Five Guys, and they were playing this song, and I kept thinking, I know that there's something familiar about this, and I think it was familiar to you too.
Yep.
So you pulled out the Shazam app and you played it, and then you looked at me and said, guess. And I said, well, let me think about it. The voice was familiar, but it was the guitar that made me say, is this George Thorogood? And he went, yep, that's him.
Yep. February 25th, George Harrison.
My favorite Beatle.
Another guitar player. Fabulous guitar player.
And really an underestimated and undervalued songwriter.
Yes, absolutely. He wrote some great songs. They tried, while Lennon and McCartney did the bulk of the Beatles tunes. They tried to incorporate in the later albums at least 2 pieces by George Harrison.
Yeah, he
on
really
each album.
He managed to really crack out some very good material, and then at post Beatles, he was actually bigger than both Lennon and McCartney individually.
Yeah,
I mean, song from the concert from Bangladesh, just shattered sales records.
Yep. Sean Astin, actor. He was in The Goonies. He was Sam in The Lord of the Rings. He was the son of Patty Duke
and John Astin.
No. He was the son of Patty Duke and Michael Tell, whom Patty was married to in 1970. She married John Astin in 72, and he raised Sean.
So that's why Sean took John's name.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either until I read it. It was fascinating and very interesting. And then we have Anson Mount, actor Captain Pike in Discovery. And he's been a working actor. Oh my gosh, lots of stuff.
He did something else
1999.
and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but he did something before he appeared as Pike on Discovery, and it's something that I've heard of. I can't remember what it is right now.
I looked down through it and I can't remember now.
But I loved him.
That's why I write this stuff down.
I loved him as Pike, and there is still a big push for a whole new Captain Pike Star Trek series. A lot of fans would like to see it because I think that is one of the things that Discovery really got right in their second season.
Yep. Pierre-Auguste Renoir, painter,
Renoir.
French impressionist, and I will never forget.
Oh my goodness!
Going to it was an impressionist exhibit at the Phoenix Art Museum. They had a number of Monets, and then they had the luncheon with the boating party.
Yeah, I loved how they did that entire exhibit because you followed this deliberate path, and then it ended you in this big room, and there it is, the original copy, print, whatever you want to call it, the original work of Renoir, and it was like I had never seen it before in my life.
Exactly. Well, it's huge.
It's enormous.
Huge.
And reproductions.
You only see it. I mean, if you get a 24 by 36, you're lucky.
And I would say that reproductions do not do this thing justice.
Oh, God, no.
Absolutely
not.
It
was just incredible.
Because when I saw it, it took my breath away. It was so
beautiful. You could
beautiful.
walk up and look within, 3 feet of it.
And the colors popped in a way like I had not seen before. It really was a revelation for me.
It was incredible. Then we have Jim Backus, actor, Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo.
He was actually in Rebel Without a Cause.
Really? I need to see that.
And,
well, of course.
What else?
Well, Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island. Who did he play?
Thurston Howell III.
Yes. And then we have Oliver Phelps, and his brother has had the birthday same day. So Oliver and James Phelps.
I'm going to hazard a guess that these are the twins from Harry Potter.
Yes, Fred and George
Weasley.
Yep. And not only did they do Fred and George in between their scenes and the days that they were not filming, they were working as help behind the scenes.
Oh, no kidding!
Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah. So they were picking up
learning
some good
the craft.
Skills. Yeah. February 26th.
The Man in Black.
Johnny Cash, singer songwriter. Oh my gosh, I remember listening to Johnny Cash in the early '60s.
He kept recording all the way to the end of his life, and he did a song. I want to say the song is called Pain.
Yeah.
And it's regarded, and I can't remember, I think the original artist was Pearl Jam, but I could be really, really wrong on that. But it is regarded that his version is the superior one. Yep. And I've heard it, and it is agonizing.
Yeah, they had an exhibit on Johnny Cash at the Musical Instrument Museum here.
Yes.
That was the one with John Lennon as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, I think the Johnny Cash is still on exhibit. So, and then we have Victor Hugo, writer, Les Miserables, Hunchback of Notre Dame, just incredible writer. And William Frawley.
Fred Mertz.
He was also in Miracle on 34th Street.
He was in Miracle on 34th Street, and he was also in the first couple of series of My Three Sons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. And Levi Strauss, businessman, hallmark of the genes that Levi Strauss.
He was not a musician, so he couldn't take after his great-great-great-great-grandfather Johann.
No.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. but he did use brass rivets in the clothing, too, because it was used by the 49ers. Not the baseball team.
The Miners.
The Miners.
The Miner 49er.
Yes. Yeah. And the clothing was always coming apart. So he put brass rivets on
to keep it together.
The stress points, and they became very popular clothing. And then we have Facebook friend and former coworker Amy McCreary. February 27th, Elizabeth Taylor, actor or larger-than-life actress. Oh, my gosh, just larger than life.
Yeah.
She was in Giant, Cleopatra, and she was married like 900 times.
Several of those to Richard Burton.
Exactly. But she, some of her publicity photos, she was a beautiful
I'm not
woman.
going to take anything away from how
God.
beautiful she was. In fact, of course, everybody knows that at one point she did gain a lot of weight. She did
we
lose
all get
it.
old,
I know. She really wasn't even old at that time. She just kind of adopted a sedentary sort of life. She was married to a congressman. She then lost the weight and appeared on an episode of the ABC nighttime soap Hotel. And there was a publicity shot of her making the grand appearance. And I had to stop and say, oh, my God, she is still beautiful.
Exactly. And then we have John Steinbeck, writer, Grapes of Wrath, of Mice and Men.
Yep.
A number of other things. Mostly about the downtrodden, etc. Then we have Marian Anderson. She was a woman of color who performed between 1925 and 1965. Sang a variety of music from spirituals to opera. She sang a lot of opera, but never performed opera. She did one performance. She had a rich, vibrant contralto, and that one performance was in Un ballo in Maschera at the Met in 1955. She was the first person of color to sing at the Met.
Wonderful.
And then we have Jonathan Ivey. Johnny Ivey, formerly of Apple, engineer, kind of visionary of different things. He's moved on to start his own company and producing things for Apple. But anyway. And then we have Morella Franey.
We just lost her.
Yeah, just a week or so ago. Opera singer, very long career, just a wonderful voice, wonderful talent. Then we have Logan Marshall, friend of ours.
Who works for Arizona Opera.
Arizona Opera, exactly. Happy birthday, Logan. And then Danny Noonan in Australia. February 28th, Bernadette Peters.
I didn't know she was an opera singer.
Yes. Of course, I tell that story.
Yes.
I'm driving and I'm listening to Met Opera Radio, and then we said, "Hi, I'm Roberta Peters, and you're listening to the Met Opera Radio." And I thought, I didn't know she was an opera singer.
No.
And I was thinking of Bernadette Peters.
Who is not an opera singer.
Who is
but
not
she does have an amazing Broadway singing voice.
Yes. And then it was like months before I realized the difference. And then it felt stupid. But it's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then we have Frank Gehry, an architect. He designed the Walt Disney Concert Hall Museum of Pop Culture in
I really want to go there one day.
And he's like 92. He's still alive. Still alive.
Oh, bless him.
And Vincent Minnelli, filmmaker, husband of Judy Garland, father of Liza. He was the director of Gigi, Kismet, Brigadoon, and American in Paris. I mean, some decent films. And Zero Mostel, actor in The Producers.
Yes, as well as... Oh, good grief. Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum?
Yeah, exactly. My favorite film.
No, it's not.
And yours.
No, it's not.
No?
No, it isn't. Nowhere near close.
And then we have Facebook friend Anthony Gehry. February 29th. Unusual. Dinah Shore. Actress, singer. She did so many different TV variety shows.
She had a very, very long career. In fact,
my gosh.
There is my mom has a black and white VHS. It's a musical with Fred Astaire and Dinah Shore. I mean, and this is Fred during his early years.
Yeah.
And Dinah had this beautiful voice.
Yep. And she did the Dinah Shore Chevy Show. And the tagline for that was, "See the USA in your Chevrolet."
I remember that.
I do too. And then we have Jimmy Dorsey, musician of the 40s. March 1st, Ron Howard.
Richie Cunningham.
Opie, please.
Oh, well.
From the Andy Griffith Show.
Well, to me, he's... I had a
and
thing.
Richie, yes.
I loved Richie Cunningham.
But he was an actor, director extraordinaire.
Very talented.
Very talented.
Very talented.
Imagine Entertainment. Just some incredible films that he's produced. And then Frédéric Chopin was a pianist. The interesting thing was that he did only like 12 concerts, but he preferred intimate salon hearings of his work. And he made money by selling his work and having pupils.
Oh,
interesting. So, and then we have Gioacchino Rossini.
Whoa, we missed two people.
Sorry. David Niven, actor.
Who I just dreamt about last night, oddly enough. Go figure.
I know, I didn't tell you that. But that he was on the list. I thought you would be surprised.
Yeah, I am.
And then Roger Daltrey.
Oh, The Who.
The Who, yes.
In fact, this man had shredded his voice badly, but I read a couple months ago, The Who are going back on the road. Of course, The Who now consists of just Roger and Pete Townsend. And Pete went on to say that Roger actually worked with a vocal coach and got his voice back to full strength.
Wow, interesting.
I might actually see them now just to find out if Roger can still belt out that stuff like Who Needs You and Baba O'Reilly. I mean, because I loved The Who back in their day.
Yeah. And then we have Gioacchino Rossini, composer of opera.
One of my favorite composers.
He didn't know how to end a phrase. So he kept repeating it.
Yeah. And thereby giving invention to the coda.
Yeah, exactly. And then Harry Belafonte, singer.
Deo!
Jamaican-born, the Banana Boat song with Deo. He was in Carmen Jones.
Yes.
He's still alive. He's 92.
Wow.
92. Glenn Miller, popular musician of the 30s and 40s. And then we have Robert Conrad, who Wild Wild West, died a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yes.
And Thomas Addis, composer, Exterminating Angel recently at the Met.
Which I'm very curious about. I'm not too keen on the music, but everybody says the story of that opera is amazing.
Yep. And then we have Aaron Knowles. Happy birthday, Aaron, one of our sometime contributors, and Facebook friend Steve Robinson. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama Podcast.
Yeah, Chuck just last week was saying, I got to do another bumper because obviously that one's a tiny bit dated.
Just a little bit, exactly. But we were on their show
just last week.
This week,
yeah.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counselors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
We want to make you aware of something that
we've been talking about a lot on social media this last few days.
It's near and dear to our heart. It's a new Kickstarter for a Jason T. Gaffney production. It's called Marriage of Inconvenience, and it's going to be filmed and will stream probably the latter part of this year, early part of next year. It's on Deku, the LGBTQ streaming service. It's going to be a 6-part series about 2 gay guys thrust into a witness protection program as a married couple.
And they're not married in real life. I mean, the characters in quote-unquote real life are not married, but they have to pretend to be married as part of the program.
Yeah.
And it looks to be silly.
Yeah, the thing is, they can't stand each other.
No, they hate each other.
So, just for reference.
And what I love is that Jason's playing against type.
Yep, exactly.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him play somebody that is so not anything like him.
Yep. And for reference, Jason T. Gaffney is writer-director of Analysis Paralysis, who we interviewed some months back. Oh my gosh, what a
that movie.
Scream. And we've seen the new film that is
Out of Body.
I wasn't going to say the name because it's not been released yet, and it's not even. Anyway,
but there's been a lot of talk about it already.
Yeah, so anyway. And they have a lot of their funding from Deku, but they need just a bit more to kind of get some additional people involved, crew, and pay the actors a decent wage. So they're doing a Kickstarter. Check it out and contribute. There are a ton of perks.
Yes.
Go to Kickstarter and search for Marriage of Inconvenience. We'll have a link in the show notes for that. And in the spirit of transparency, we are backers of this project. Mm-hmm. What did I do?
I hit a wrong button.
I think I hit the wrong button. There we go.
That's it.
That's the right button. Sorry. Got ahead of myself.
Yes, because we do have some feedback, and I hope I have time to get through all of this. Starting off, this is just a general comment that came from good friend Patricia Chica, and she says, our award-winning queer short, Morning After, is now playing on this gay platform. It is Orvel.me. I was looking at that earlier today. That is an amazing platform. It's a website.
Really?
And it's you have to watch everything on the web. There is no app that I can see for it at the present time. But the content that is there looks absolutely incredible. A lot of stuff. You don't need to sign up for anything. You just go there and surf and watch. And we'll have the link for that.
And we were producers on Morning After as well.
Yes, so. That's why we got mentioned in that. So, moving on, regarding Ben's breakdown, The Passing of a Giant. This was a kind of a retrospective that I gave, personal thoughts on the passing of Rush drummer Neil Peart. Got a comment from Greg Lowe, and he said, this is easily one of the better essays of the many I've been reading the past few weeks. Thank you for taking the time to put your thoughts into words and sharing them with us. Simply beautiful. It's been tough. And yes, it has been. But the one I'm really feeling a lot of pain for is writer Kevin Anderson. He's having a very hard time with Neil's passing. So anyway, moving on. TG Geeks episode number 257. I got a comment from Arkle, and he left this on our YouTube channel. And we have been kind of talking a little bit about Doctor Who and kind of the weird things that this series took this year. He says, I don't agree for the most part on the new series of Doctor Who, but I will concede that Orphan 55 kind of fumbled it in the end zone. I still don't hate it, but the episode would have been better with a different ending. One thing I will say in its defense, though, I'm so annoyed at seeing all these videos in my YouTube recs that refer to it as the worst Doctor Who episode ever. Well, no, it is not by any stretch of the imagination. Because he follows up by saying, excuse me? Did y'all just erase Kill the Moon from your brains? And if you did manage to erase Kill the Moon from your brains, can you please tell me how you did it?
Exactly.
Then, moving on, regarding CBC dramatic digital series The 410, heads to Slamdance for international premiere. Got a comment from Cheek Art Public Relations. They say, thanks a lot to Keith Lane of TG Squared Studios for this great article about The 410, heading to Slamdance Film Festival for their international premiere. Then got a comment. This is regarding Big Fur screening at Slam Dance Film Festival. Got a comment from Big Fur Documentary on Facebook. They say, thanks, TGG. Moving on. Regarding Ben's breakdown, as films go, For the Love of Spock is more than simply logical. Got a comment from Scott Linder. Hey, Scott, it's been a long time. He said, I love this for exactly every reason Ben states. Then got a comment from Isabel Dreen. She says, really want to see this one? And finally, a comment from Jeff George, and he says, I loved it. And then to close this all off, got a comment from, this is regarding TG Geeks episode number 258. And in that, we mentioned that Arkle was working or had season 4 of his shameless cash grab, that we thought it was on the horizon. And he comments saying, season 4 isn't coming, it's here. Posted the first episode last week, in fact. Yes, and we have since corrected ourselves. Then I got a comment from D. Estelle. I believe we were celebrating her birthday. She says, thank you. And then also got a comment from Amy McAdams. And she says, thank you so much. Also, Lenore Swislow. She says, thank you for the birthday shout-outs. And then, because we interviewed MJ Lyons for that episode, he left a comment. Queer Mikey. He left a comment on Twitter. He says, I got to talk with my favorite people in the world about life post-murder at the World's Fair, Glad Day books, and more. Check it out. Well, I was so touched by what Mikey had to say that I commented back and said, that post has graduated you from just being a guest on the show to now being a friend of the show. And he had to get snarky with me and said, do I get a badge or at least a t-shirt?
Well, maybe.
And I said, hey, we're still trying to find ways to make money, so as soon as we can, maybe we'll pass it on to you. And that is what we had for this feedback.
You can leave a comment on our Facebook page or on each article or episode on tggeeks.com. You can also comment on Twitter and Instagram. If you're one of those that wants to talk on the phone and leave us a voicemail message, you can do that and we'll play it on air. You can call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice.
Now
it's time for that. We're huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, artists, comic book artists, writers, everything.
Well, as fact, we talked a little bit about Marriage of Inconvenience, for example.
Absolutely. And if you see somebody that's a comic book artist or a writer or filmmaker or whatever at a convention, please stop and chat them up and then tell other people about their stuff. Buy their stuff. Please have cash for them. Please consider supporting independent creators.
Not just cons, but if you see something on social media for a project that you think you might want to back.
Just like Kickstarter.
Just like this Kickstarter. If you see anything on social media and you say, I might want to be a part of that, well, consider being a part of it.
And you can be a part of it for as little as $5 generally. Joshua Tree Feeding Program is a 501c3 nonprofit food pantry for the HIV/AIDS community for Maricopa and Pinal counties. They offer a place where the clients can select from a wide assortment of nutritional foods to take home. They set it up as a store so the clients can pick and choose the food they want, so it empowers them and no food is wasted. It's an all-volunteer organization, so please consider supporting Joshua Tree either through a single or a monthly recurring gift. Go to jtfp.org. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
We don't have a whole lot that we can talk about, or a whole lot of time that we can talk about anything in the second segment, except that we want to see if anybody in the New York City area would like to meet us. We're going to be in New York City from March 9th through the 15th. So please just send us a comment on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, or on the website, and we'll try to set up a time to meet and have a coffee or something, and maybe we'll set up a time sometime while we're there that everybody can gather. If
that would be nice.
There, please let us know if you're interested, and we'll make a point.
Okay, these are the things that we ran this past week at tggeeks.com, and the links for each of these articles will appear in the show notes for this episode at tggeeks.com. Starting with Sunday, February 16th, Dr. Zombie Monster Family Physician number 88. On Monday the 17th, TG Geeks number 261. And now the one where I have the biggest egg on my face. Tuesday the 18th, Ben's Breakdown, Grace and Frankie's Series Thoughts. Well, guess what? Turns out there's another season that's on the horizon. Ha ha ha. Ain't I a fool? On Wednesday the 19th, Marriage of Inconvenience Kickstarter. You've been hearing us talk about it. This is a Deku original series by Jason T. Gaffney. On Thursday the 20th, Andrew's Angle, Ordinary Love is Touching and Authentic. On Friday the 21st, Hamish Downey's 5 Questions with Adrian Story, a.k.a. Uchujin. I'm hoping I pronounced that right, although I doubt I did. On Saturday the 22nd, Andrew's Angle, Emma is Charmingly Captivating.
You can find all these things at tggeeks.com, as well as entries on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. Please visit and comment.
Have a couple of shout-outs that we need to make. First, to the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News. You've heard us give feedback from Arkle, Brian Weber. He puts out the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News, which republishes our content from time to time. You can find that by going to Twitter and searching for Arkle, at ARKLE. Also, and we made reference to this in the feedback from him, he has the Shameless Cash Grab. It's in Season 4 right now, and you can find that by going to youtube.com/Arkle Studios. And he had episode 1 was Operation Endgame. And he's also posted a video of him playing Trick or Treat Part 3. I might need to check that out. Yep. Also, have to give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for also allowing us to post our episode and relevant articles on their pages. First, Two Gay Geeks After Hours. When I asked if we could share our content, they said, please share away. So we're going to give big thanks to their moderators, and their URL is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours, all one word. And then, too, The Gay Geek for also allowing us to share all of our lovely stuff on their page. Their URL is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek. Again, all one word. Special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
And thank you, Jeremiah. And lastly, we can be found on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Krypton Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays. Listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can stream our episodes while you surf the internet. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page of things we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Always be kind. Peace.
Cheers.